The winter of 1912 settled gently over a small river town in New England, the kind of place where time moves slowly and everyone knew the sound of everyone else's footsteps. Snow rested on wooden roofs like folded quilts, and the river ran dark and patient beneath the skin of ice. At the edge of Main Street stood a narrow brick building with a faded sign in the window. Inside worked a man named Samuel Whitaker. Samuel was the town's photographer. He captured weddings, funerals, newborns wrapped in lace, and old men sitting stiffly in borrowed suits. His camera was large and heavy, built of wood and brass, and every photograph took time, care, and a steady hand. People trusted him with their faces, but they did not know his heart. Samuel had once dreamed of more. Years earlier, he had planned to move to Boston, to photograph the world beyond the river. But life had narrowed after his wife, Margaret, fell ill. When she passed, Samuel stayed. The town became his whole world, and the camera his only companion. One December afternoon, just before Christmas, a stranger came into his studio. She was a young woman, pale and trembling, holding the hand of a small boy wrapped in a threadbare coat. Her eyes carried a kind of fear Samuel had seen only a few times in his life. "My son is very sick," she said quietly. "The doctor says he may not last the winter. I have no picture of him, not a proper one." Samuel nodded without speaking. He had learned that silence was sometimes the kindest answer. The boy, no more than 6, smiled at Samuel with surprising calm. His name was Thomas. His breathing was shallow, but his eyes were bright, as if he was already looking somewhere far away. Samuel positioned the chair, adjusted the backdrop, and prepared the camera. The light from the window was weak, but it would have to do. As he slid the glass plate into place, something unusual happened. The room grew strangely still. The ticking clock on the wall stopped. The faint sound of the river outside faded into nothing. Even the air felt heavier, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Samuel looked through the lens and froze. Around the boy, the light had changed. It was soft, warm, almost glowing, not shining like a lamp, but resting around him, gentle and alive. Samuel blinked, stepped back, then looked again. The glow remained. His hands shook as he removed the lens cap and counted the seconds. When the exposure was complete, the room returned to normal. The clock resumed its ticking. The river whispered again. No one else had noticed anything. The mother thanked Samuel through quiet tears, paid him what little she could, and left with her son. Samuel stood alone in the studio, his heart pounding, unsure of what he had just seen. That night, in the darkroom behind the studio, Samuel developed the plate. As the image slowly appeared in the chemical bath, his breath caught in his throat. There was Thomas, sitting just as he had been, but around him, clear as morning mist, was the same gentle light. It formed no shape, no wings, no figure anyone could name. It simply was peaceful, unexplainable. Samuel printed the photograph and stared at it until dawn. He did not show it to anyone. Some things, he felt, were too fragile for questions. 2 weeks later, word spread that Thomas had passed away quietly in his sleep, a faint smile on his face. Funeral. The mother approached Samuel. She held the photograph with trembling hands. When he grew weaker, she said, "He told me not to be afraid. He said someone warm was with him." Samuel had no answer. He only bowed his head. Years passed. The town changed slowly, as towns do. Cars replaced horses. Electric lights replaced oil lamps. Samuel grew older, his hair silver, his hands less steady. But he never forgot that photograph. When Samuel died, they found it wrapped carefully in cloth, hidden in the back of a drawer. No note, no explanation. The picture was later placed in the town's small historical museum. Visitors often stopped in front of it longer than they meant to. Some said they felt calm. Others said it reminded them of someone they had lost. No one ever explained the light, and perhaps it never needed explaining.